Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the session on Git and GitHub. Uh, I am Abhishek, an undergraduate engineering student, and I am currently a software developer intern at Let's Upgrade. And also, I am leading the initiative named Build with Let's Upgrade, which is uh, sponsored by Let's Upgrade. For that, we will be talking later in the session. So let us get started with the session. So, yep. And we have with us Rohit. He will introduce himself. Rohit, can you please introduce yourself? Hello. I think Rohit is mute.
Hello, hello,
Yeah,
hello everyone. Hello Abhishek.
yeah,
Yeah, I guess I got muted somehow. So anyway, I am a beta level Microsoft student partner, and I am not doing much right now. But during my sophomore year, I have worked on Git, so I know a lot about how things happen with Git and in the Git organization itself. So let's get started now. Abhishek, continue.
yeah. Let's start it. Let's get started. Okay. So today we will see what we are gonna learn from this session. So first of all, we will learn what is a version control system. Then after we will see what is introduction to Git. Then we will see some use cases of Git. Then we will have a glimpse of the workflow of the Git, like what are the operations we can perform using Git. Then we will come to GitHub. Okay, we will see the introduction to GitHub. We will do some hands-on practice with working with the repositories and its all operations like pull requests, what is pull request, what are issues, what are forking up repository, what are cloning a repository, etc., etc. What is merge? We will see that all things, and at last we are gonna see actually what is the difference between Git and GitHub. We heard it a lot, like there is a GitHub is so famous. So we will see at the last, after knowing Git and GitHub, we will come to the difference. Like what is the basic difference between Git and GitHub? So let's get started. Rohit, can you take over?
Okay, Abhishek. So let's first start with what a version control system is. The version control system is a system that basically tracks changes that you did to a collection of files or a folder. So can you skip to the next slide, Abhishek? So let's say you are working on a project and you made some changes. Now your boss requests to make some other changes. So you made another revisions, and now he needs some more changes to be incorporated. And now you change it again and again and again. Now finally it basically turns into a spaghetti code, a spaghetti kind of organization. And now you don't know which codes should stay and which code you should discard. Now here is the situation that actually became a really messy. So this is where version control systems shine. They basically provide you a way to manage all the files, to track all the files for you, so that you don't have to deal with all this mess. As you can see in the meme, the guy created a final doc, but then his boss or maybe PhD supervisor told him to make changes, and he very soon got frustrated with all these changes. Now, as a side effect to this versioning, version control systems also enable us to also enables many people to work on the same repository. Like we used to have stickers on our copies back in the school days. So basically, we can tell a version control system to add a sticker in our name to some copy, and hence we can have multiple peoples working on the same repository. Now we have Abhishek. who is going to talk more on a specialized version control system, which is Git.
Yeah,
Over to you, Abhishek.
yeah. So, what is Git? So, Git is a version control system. Okay. So, it was started back in 2005. Okay. So, it is the most popular distributed control system. So, we have many advantages on Git, like it is very fast, it is versatile, and it is massively scalable. Like it is means in the development part, or in if you are working on a like with a team on a big scale project, it is very beneficial for us to use Git in that. Like we will be seeing more advantages of it going further in the session. So now we'll come. Why do we use Git? So we can many of you can think like we can share the code, we can make a GIF file. Like literally, I was doing was when I have started like in this programming field or IT field. So I was literally doing this when I used to when I have to send some files or codes to my friend or my team. What I was doing, I was just making a GIF file of it and I was sending him with a mail or on WhatsApp. So it is a really a worst practice in a developer's life. So we can use Git and GitHub over there. Okay. So basically Git has a track of every change and every task, every issues. So it is very beneficial. Like it escapes us from messing up all the codes and everything. Like it gives a suitable, a proper organized way to keep our code in an organized manner. And we can give access to any one of our team or any one of them. Okay, we will see more on Git and its operation further in the session. Let's move forward. Okay, so for key concepts and all, I'll not go with the like written statements. So let me show you the practical things. Okay, just a minute. Yeah. So basically, this is a GitHub. Like this is the homepage of GitHub.com. If you go to GitHub.com, this will. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Is it visible? My screen is visible. Yeah. 1 minute. Yeah. So this is the homepage of GitHub. So here you can make your account over here. You'll go to like it's like Facebook or any other social sites. You need to have a email ID and you will make an account. After that, this will come. So this is my account. This is my personal homepage of GitHub. So we will move to any repository. Suppose we are selecting this repository. So this is the interface of that repository, right? So here we have our username by which we are identified. Like all of you knows Instagram, right? So there we have user IDs. Similarly, we have user ID over here also. If you want your friends or your teammates to know that you are in GitHub, so you can use this name, you can give them, they can find you easily. And this is our repository name. Okay. So let me create show you by creating a repository. So this was the home page. Let us click here, repository new. Okay. After clicking, we get a option to write the name of the repository. Suppose we will give uh, git session test. Okay. So this will be our repository name, and here we can write a description like what about actually this repository is. Like we are creating a repository, so what is it? Like about what it is actually. So we will. This is just sorry. This is just for testing. Okay. Now we have two options, public and private. So what is public repository and what is private repository? Let us know this. Public repository are the repositories which are visible to anyone. Okay. If you select this option, anyone with the link to that repository can view your repository, can give a pull request to your repository, can see the content inside your repository, all the files and folders they can see. But if you do the private one, So in the private, uh, other people will not able to see like what content you have inside your repository. So if you are like coding, like, or if you are making a project that is like confidential type project, so you must not show the code to anyone else, to the public. So that at that time we use the private repository. And if you want your teammates to work on this private repository, so there we will have we are having an option to add a collaborators to our repository that we will be seeing further in the session. So let us keep this repository public. And then after this comes the readme. So here we have an option to initialize the readme file. Okay, so this is a good practice. We should do this because by initializing this, we can add a readme file, which is basically information about our repository, a detailed information we can give over here. Um, for writing README repositories, we generally follow the HTML syntax. We have some, this is called a markdown type file. So we have basically a few syntax for that writing and decorating it in a good manner. Okay. Then we have add git ignore. So these are packages like we can add here git. Okay, git book. It will it will contain all the git book, small silly things. This is not important. So here we have a, like, I am going in the depth. So this is the license part. Okay, if you are like MIT, you want to make it a license one, so you can select this. After that, we will click on the create repository, and the repository will be created. Yeah, now we have repository created. We have selected that git part, git book. This is for that, and license is of like MIT license that we have selected, and the readme file that we have selected. If you will see this, this is empty one. Now we have the repository name and the description what we have provided, and further we can go here and edit according to us whatever we want to let others know that this is our repository and what it contains, like instructions or installing, if you are making a software, how to install it, or like this stuff you can give here. Okay, and after, like, suppose anything you write and you will commit changes, right? So that will be reflected in the your readme file. So now here comes few topics, few specific terms of GitHub, like what now we are coming to point what we are seeing there. So yes, so first of all we will see what is uh, okay, what is forking a repository. For forking a repository, let us go to another person's repository because I can't so with my repository. So let us come to here. So this is Vedant's profile, and he has repositories listed over there, right? So suppose I want to get this repository in my repository list. So I'll go there. I'll fork it. So I'll fork, and with my ID, now it comes under my section. Okay. So this was generally forking a repository. Now comes, like, okay, we'll go again to this. Now we have like, yeah, issues. So what are issues? Okay. So issues are generally issues are generally used to keep a track of the enhancements required in our repository. It is used to keep a track of the bugs or any task which we want. So suppose if we go to, like, again, wait, yeah, this repository, yeah, for this repository, if you are going here, so we have three issues. Let us see what are issues. So these are the issues. So issues are generally, suppose I have made a project, okay, and I want other further enhancements. So I'll raise an issue, okay, um, so that the person, yeah, all the contributors who are contributing to my repository, they can see issues, and if they are able to solve it, they can easily solve it. Okay, for creating an issue, we just go over here and we write the title, comment if you want, and we will submit the issue. Suppose for testing. Okay, So we have written the heading and the description, and we will submit this issue. So this issue has been opened. Okay. So this issue is now opened for all. Anyone with my link, repo link or repo name can share this issue. And if you are a good developer and if you can solve this issue, you can easily solve it. Okay. Um, okay. Now comes the pull request. So what is pull request, right? So pull request is nothing but it tells you tells other people like what changes you have posted to your own repository, right? Okay. So okay. So pull request is generally if you want to make any changes in my repository. Suppose I am having a repository with some features and you want to add some more features. So you will propose or you will write a file and you will propose to me like please merge this pull request into your repository. So we will have a merge uh, command over there and we will merge that uh, file into our main repository. So now here comes the branch section. So what is branch? So branching means we have means inbuilt a master branch, which is the main master, with the name of master, we can understand that it is the main branch. So for the comfortness, like we may not get the codes here and there for organizing codes or for preventing it from loss, we create branches. Suppose if someone wants to merge any file to my content or my code, they will just they can make their own branch and they can push it. They can give a PR to me, that is pull request to me, and further I can if that is suitable for my code, I can merge it with the master branch. Don't worry if you are not getting it. We will show it with practically. We have Rohit over here. He will show us with the whole this practical things with the command line interface and all. Okay. Okay. So and one more thing, we have this cloning. Okay. So this is also a very popular term. Suppose if you want this repository to get downloaded in your local system or your remote system, so you can just go over there and download zip or open with GitHub Desktop. So if you do this, this will get downloaded in the zip file and you can work in the okay, local system. And suppose if you want to upload any file, so we will go here, add file. We have two options: create a new file, that will create here only. And if you want to upload file, you can click here and you can drag and drop or just choose your files from your local repository. Okay. So I think, yeah, Rohit, can you take over now for that CLI purpose?
Okay. I'll take it from here. Let me share my screen.
Yeah.
I think you're still on, Abhishek.
Sharing.
Is my screen on your
Yeah, yeah.
screen now?
Yeah, your screen is visible. You can go ahead.
Okay. So I'll start with the practical now. So let's say I need to create a repository. So for that, I need to first have a folder which I'll convert to a repository. So let us name that folder sample project or something, and then change directory to it. Now for converting this folder into a repository, we use a command git init. So git init will convert this folder into a Git repository by creating another folder .git, which Git uses to track whatever is happening in our repository. As you can see, it contains a hell lot of other folders and objects which are going to be used by Git for tracking our files. Okay. So now I'm going to put some content into a repository. Let us create a file, new item, and let that file contain information about your speaker. So I'll name it speakerinfo.md. And now I want first let us check the status of the repository. So it states that this speaker.info.md file is currently untracked by Git. So if anything happens to this file, Git says that I am not responsible. So to make Git understand that you need to track this file, we are going to use another command, git add, which is conveniently stated even in the help message of git status. So git add, then the file name, which is speaker_info.md. Now if we again check our git status, it says that changes are ready to be committed. So right now, before our file lived in a stage which we basically call working directory, but now it is in a special place which is also known as staging area. So whatever files that are ready to be committed lives in the staging area. Now we'll use yet another command, git commit, to commit all the changes permanently to our git history, the history of the repository. So git commit, it takes a flag -m, which basically tells us the message that we want this commit to be linked with. So for now, let us keep it simple. Initial commit it will be. And let's say I want to check the history, what my this history of this repository looks like. We can use a command git log. Git log gives us everything, every history related to the current branch. If we want to view history of all branches or a specific branch, we can use --all or provide the branch name. So right now, let us analyze the output of the git log. First is our commit hash. Commit hash is basically a cryptographic hash of the contents which are a part of this commit. So it uses SHA-1 algorithm. You can always look up to the internet what cryptographic hash functions are, what is SHA-1 and everything. Then this is a special bracket syntax which basically tells us uh, which branch does this commit belong to. And this is a special variable head which always points to the commit which is currently checked out by git. So currently we are at the top commit of master, so it points to master directly. Then it is saying that author of this particular commit is Rohit, which is me because I currently committed the code, and I committed it around 4:52 Indian time. And now this commit is stored on my PC. But usually we create Git repositories for collaboration purposes. So now if I want to share this code with my colleagues or Abhishek in this case, I can use another command, git push, and then it takes two arguments. First argument is a remote. Now what is a remote? Remote is basically a URL which points to a remote repository which is available to all through internet. So I created this repository. Abhishek already told you how to create repositories. So I created this repository beforehand. It is in the name python.js-git, and this URL that you can see here is basically our remote URL or remote. Also, you can see that here is another set of buttons which lets you choose between how should you refer to your, in what format should you refer to your report. So I basically use SSH all the time, so I'll copy the SSH one. And you can see GitHub actually provides us with a lot of information about how should we upload our code to GitHub. But right now I already know how to do it, so I'm not going to follow that. So I copied the remote URL and I'll paste it here. Now the next argument is which branch should I push to GitHub. So in this case, it is named master. So I'll try to push master there, and as you can see, everything is pushed. Now, typing this whole big URL is a tedious and takes a lot of efforts. So instead of typing this over and over again, we can basically create an alias to this URL so that we can use that alias instead of typing this whole big git URL thingy. So git remote is a command which deals with all the things related with git remotes. So it has a subcommand add. Now add takes two arguments. First is the alias itself. Let us conventionally name it origin, and then as you guessed it, the URL, the remote URL. You can give it any name. Let's say I am working on my side of remote, so I can give it Rohit or maybe Abhishek. It doesn't matter. It just have to be something small and rememberable. So usually the main repository is known as origin. So let us use it origin here. We can also use it upstream, which is yet another common name for reports. And then I can again use this similarly. Instead of writing this whole big URL, I can just use its alias and again push it. But right now everything is already there on our remote. Git will simply say that everything is up to date and will not upload anything. Now if I refresh this page, you can see that speaker info.md is created, but this is right now, as you can see, empty. Now let me add my side of speaker information to it. Now it is not a good practice to directly commit to master or make changes to master. Instead, we try to work on branches. So to create a branch from current branch, you can use git checkout and then branch name. Let's name it Rohit information because it is going to contain my information. If we want to create a branch from another branch, we can provide its name too. But right now we are currently on the branch from which we want to branch off, so it doesn't matter. Now we switch to a new branch as git confirms. So now I'll add my information to the speaker info. It is going to be a small file, no problem. Hi there, and away from my side, I am Rohit. I am a beta level Microsoft student partner, and I love the Rust programming language. I love playing computer games, and that's about it. Now I want you can let us check the status for repository first. So we already told Git to please take care of speaker.info file. Please track it for us. So it is saying that looks like you have modified the speaker.md file. So we can tell Git again that yes, I have modified. Please add it to the staging area with the add command. And now again looking at the status, we can see yes, it is staged and no further modifications have been detected. So now to commit this, we can use git commit. Again minus m flag to pass the commit message in the same line and then add Rohit's information. A note on commit messages, they are usually written in imperative sentences as if you are dictating the code to do what you want. So also usually they are accompanied by a commit description which basically tells us why this commit is so important. You need to justify there that yes, my commit is important and this is the reason why it is important. Also, we usually try to avoid what it does and how it does part of the changes that you have made. The why part is more important. It takes priority. So now I have committed my changes. I can now push them to the remote, which is named origin in this case, and then the branch name, which is Rohit Info, and it is pushed, and it says a new branch has been created over here. As you can see, GitHub conveniently gives us the option to compare and pull requests against our default branch, which you can see here in this drop down is master. So let us do pull request. So this is the title of our pull request, and we can also leave the description. This description can contain anything from what you did in your this commits in this pull request or patch series, whatever you may like to call it, and what you did, how you did, anything can go in this. It is basically just an overview or anything different information which you have not provided through your commit messages. This information is not stored on your Git history, but usually this title is saved somehow. Usually, not necessarily. So I have created a pull request here. Now Abhishek will do the same thing through the GitHub UI and is going to explain more the features of GitHub UI, which you can see here, different tabs of pull requests and everything. Abhishek, you can take over, please.
Yeah, sure. Just a minute. Yes. Yeah. So yeah, this was Rohit's repository, right? Everyone has seen that. So what we will do here, we will, like, he has made a MD file, right? As before I said you, like, we can make MD files and all the stuffs. We can upload the codes here, or we can make a file here, create a file here. So now what I will do, like, I am a outsider for this repository, right? So now what should I do? I want, like, I will see this, open this repository, and I'll see, and I want to write some code here or some info over here. So, okay. So what can I do? I can just poke the repository to my thing. Okay, it's getting poked. Okay. So yeah, now it has come to my repository list. So now what I will do? Yeah. Now I'll write here file. I'll write my info. I am Abhishek, and undergraduate student. Okay, and I will commit the changes. Okay, so you can see here it is visible. Yeah. Okay, and now we can make a pull request over here. So now we will go here and we will just click on the pull request, and this window will come. Now I will create a new pull request. Okay, so yes, and I will create a new, okay, update speaker info.md. Here I will write uh, Rohit, can you please add some more details to it, and I'll create a pull request. Okay, so now you can see it's checking for, okay, so now it's checking for the pull request can be merged or not. So here it is showing like it is not having any completes with the base branch. Okay, so what can I, if you want to see here, we'll just click over there and we'll see what was my file. And okay, so now it's here visible that this is open. The pull request is open now here. Okay, after that, what we can do, we can merge pull request. So what is merging pull request? So for pull request, I have already told you, if you want to propose any change to any other's repository, you can propose a pull request. Okay. So merge pull request is what? Merging is what? It's my repository and I want to make other code into merge other codes in my repository. Okay. So if the person has like proposed any file, and it will show as a pull request to me, and if it does not have any conflicts with the base branch, so it will show to merge pull request. So here I can generally do this confirm merge. So it's showing merge pull request to from Abhishek developer. That's my user ID. So I will tell you one thing, like why it is showing to me like I can merge, because Rohit has added me a collaborator to this file. Okay, so it is showing me like this, like I can directly merge over here. Okay, so yeah, so we can see now the update has been changed from open to merged. Now the file is merged already in my the main master branch, and we can see over here. Okay, okay, okay. Now the file has been merged in our repo. Okay, so Rohit, can you take over now? Can we show without adding as a collaborator to it?
Like, what do you want to do?
Like without collaborator, like I am a here collaborator, so I am getting like directly option to
Yes, this
change the,
repository is public. This repository is public. Anyone can view it over the
yeah,
internet.
yeah. So can you take over?
I wait a minute. I'll do it. So this is the repository. If anyone wants to view it, can you please stop sharing your screen?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Whose screen is this?
So is my feed visible?
Yeah, can you please share your screen once, Rohit?
My screen is already shared. I think it is. Is it
No,
now
no,
visible?
no, it's not visible. Share it again.
Okay, wait. How about now? Is it visible now?
Yeah, it's visible.
It should show my side of pull request. Is it visible, Abhishek?
Yeah, it's visible. Go on, please.
Okay, so because Abhishek got his pull request merged, and I basically changed the same lines of code or speaker input.md. So we now have a merge conflict, or yeah, merge conflict here. So to resolve the merge conflict, we can click here to resolve it, and and we have these markers which tell us that this code was a part of Rohit info branch, and whatever is below this equal to is a part of master branch. This currently resides in master. So let us just remove these markers and delete all white spaces. And yes, so by just doing that, we have successfully removed all the merge conflicts in this file. If there were more files present, we can use this GitHub UI to select multiple branches, then mark them as resolved. And then those will show up uh, in this pull request, as mergeable. But now I want to show you how to do it through the Git CLI. So through Git CLI, you can just use git fetch. Git fetch is a command which is used to get changes that are done on any of your remotes. All right, we have a genius among us here. Good. So origin is our remote, and then this special URL which GitHub provides. So my PR number is 1. So pull/1/head, and then whatever I want to name this, I want to store this. Of it is called as a reference. So whatever I want to call this reference as, so I'm going to call it genius. Okay. Okay. So or let us not call it genius because I already have this, so I can just check it out through my Rohit info branch. But otherwise, if somebody else had to do it, they will need to first pull all the changes and then changes. But I already have them on my local PC. I simply check them out, and then we can use git merge. So basically, I need to include all the changes that are done in the master branch so that I can resolve them over my PC and send them back to GitHub or any other remote, so that it will not have any merge conflicts showing up here on our web page. So git merge, and then what branch I need to merge. It only takes one argument and flags if we want them to, but this argument is which branch we want to merge with our current branch. Implicit argument is always current branch. So it says already up to date, I think. Okay, since we have not pulled our master, it says everything is already up to date. So to fetch those changes, we can again use git fetch, but there is a syntactic sugar which git provides to fetch and as well as merge those changes, which is git pull. So git pull master will git pull origin will pull all the changes from our origin and merge the master branch into the master branch which is checked out in our repository right now. So git pull origin master is the command. Okay, so as you can see, speaker info got updated by one insertion, and now we can again check out our Rohit info branch and merge our master branch. And as you can see, there are merge conflicts which GitHub was also showing. There is an interesting command git dev which helps us show the difference between the previous commit and the current state of the repository. So right now you can see that there are some changes in the head which is the current branch, and the incoming commit which is from master branch, and the changes which master branch brings is I am Abhishek and I'm the graduate student. Okay, so let us edit this file. We can use Notepad. We can remove these markers to tell that this file is taken care of. Okay, now we need to again tell Git that we have successfully updated or successfully resolved all the conflicts. So we can use git add, and then we can continue our merge. And now it is asking for a commit message. So if you do not provide git commit with a -m flag, this is what is going to show up on your screens. So we can just exit this because we want to keep the default message. And now you can see that we have successfully merged our master branch into our current branch. And now to reflect these changes, to our remote repository, we are going to use git push again. Git push origin Rohit info. All right, everything is now pushed and our branch is updated, and we will see that it again has some conflicts. Let us see what is okay. No, it doesn't have. Maybe the GitHub was slow. I don't know. Okay, so we can directly merge our pull request from here, and now it now lives in our master branch. Opening the speaker file, you can see that my information is here, and Abhishek added his I am Abhishek and an undergraduate student. So this is how basically Git works. So if you have any questions, you can ask me. There is another command which is git clone. So if I wanted to, let's say, clone this repository over my PC, so instead of downloading it from here, I can directly use git CLI to download it through git clone, and then the URL or the remote address of the repository. So this is git clone. Anything else that you may have with you? Any questions? Okay,
So
so
have questions,
check
just
out.
put up in the chat.
Harshal asked that is there any disadvantage of using GUI over CMD? Actually, uh, okay. If I talk about current times, then there is almost no difference between GUIs and CMDs. But GUIs usually lack some kind of options or flags, and you can do much more through CMD rather than using a GUI. So if you can learn GUIs, CMDs, it will be better. But GUI has a low learning curve, so GUIs are beginner friendly at first. But CMDs are more powerful command lines. Okay, so Anantha asked what's the difference between checkout and fetch. Checkout and fetch are completely different commands. So checkout is basically used when you want to check out uh, a reference or branch, or let's say you have a file which resides in some other commit. So if you want to bring it to the current scope, you can use checkout. But fetch is all the references that you request Git to bring from a remote URL. So whatever changes that are made over your remote, you want Git to download those or create a copy of those on the local repository. You use fetch. But when you want to bring them into current current scope, then you use checkout. And can GitHub be used for web hosting? Okay, not exactly GitHub, but GitHub provides a service, GitHub Pages, through which you can host simple static sites. And yeah, that's about it. It also provides us SSL certificate for free, so it is basically very cheap for students, and everyone should use GitHub Pages for hosting simple pages. Yes. Okay, KD asked, can you please explain fork? Abhishek, can you explain fork in some little detail?
Yep, sure. We have more doubts regarding deleting a repositories and all. I'll explain that all the stuffs. Just okay. You guys stop sharing your screen. I'll just show them with screen and I'll explain.
Okay.
Okay. So here we go. Is my screen visible?
Yes, Abhishek, you can continue.
Yeah. So yes. Okay. So what is fork? So forking a repository means let's get here. Yeah. Okay. Forking a repository means getting others' repository into your repository list, and you can if you want to give a pull request to someone others repository or any part, so you need to first fork the repository, right? So if you go to his profile and we'll go come here, suppose I want to fork this repository, right? This is Vedant's repository, and I want this repository. I want to kind of propose some pull requests to it. So what can I do? I can go there and I'll click on this fork button. Just by clicking on this fork button, and if you are not, if you have a single account, so only your account will come from your specific account. Just click with that account and it will get forked into your repository. See, now I can see it in my repository, right? Here it is showing my username slash the repository name. That means like I have this repository in my list now, and where it has been forked is given here, Vedant. Okay, Vedant's repository is was this, and I have forked this. So I can go there and I can see this. Okay, just a minute. Okay, now I can open any file and any I can propose anything to Vedant, and again that same process what Rohit has shown you, that will be followed for merging the pull requests and all. Okay, so now I think the doubt is clear. Uh-huh.
I think you pretty much explain all of it.
Yeah. Now
So
I'll just explain.
something I want to add to it, because whenever someone creates a repository, the permissions to push to that repository does not automatically pass to everyone. But if that repository exists on your side of your username, you can manipulate it or modify it to your likings. But now you want those changes to reflect in the owner's side, so you create a pull request. That is why force exists, because you cannot create changes directly to the owner's repository. So yeah, this is why we create forks, and those are forks exist.
Okay, so now I shall show you all like someone in the chat was asking about whether we can delete a repository or not. So let's go to my list and see what can I delete my repository, any repositories I have.
Also, Abhishek, a
Yeah,
follow-up question: how to rename your repository? You can also
yeah,
tell
yeah.
me.
I'll show that all stuffs. Okay, so let me see any repository which can I delete. Okay. Okay, okay. Yeah, this one. Just this was the repository I created in the beginning of this session. I'll just click over this. So first we will see how to rename it. Okay, for that we have a setting over there, like every other stuffs. Also we have setting over here. We will click on this. Okay, so now here comes all the settings. I'll explain you one by one. So here your question comes how to change the repository name. It is quite simple. Just go here, remove this and give any name. Okay, new testing, right? So and rename it. Our repository name has been changed from testing to new testing, right? Again, now we'll see the next part. Okay. Now, if you remember, I was talking about like adding collaborators, right? If I have a private repository and I want my teammates or my friends to work on that similar repository with me, what can I do? Like I have already made that repository private, so he can't be able to see that repository. For that, what I will need, I just need to add him as a collaborator to my repository. For that, okay, let me show you. For that, we will go to manage access. We'll click there. This will ask the password to just confirm it. I'll provide the password and I will enter. So now it has shown me like what is my repository, public or this. From here also we can change this to private repository. And now here is the option to invite a collaborator. As such, we click on this, we get a option to write the username, full name, or email name. So, according to your friend, you can put over here any username. Rohit, can you tell me your username, please?
It is R1WALZ.
R1W.
AL.
Okay, this one, right? So yes,
Huh.
so I have given there the user ID and it has came Rohit's account has come here. Now I'll add Rohit to my repository and it will give him access as soon as he will accept the invite. He will be getting the invite in the GitHub as well as in his mail ID linked with the GitHub. So as soon as he accepts the invite, he is a collaborator to my repository and he can do any stuff with my repository. Okay. So, any more questions? Yeah, deleting part, right? So for deleting part, again, we'll move to the settings. Okay, we'll come down and here we have the like first option we have the change the visibility like it is a public account, so we can change it to a private account and we can transfer ownership. Just explore this, you'll get to know every each and every term. These are very easy. So just click on this delete the repository. Okay, and just copy this or just this formality and I understand the consequences and delete this repository. That's it. The repositories, your repository new twisting was successfully deleted. I hope the doubt was clear. Any more doubt if you have?
Yes, they have a lot in the chats, I guess. So first of all is what is SSH key? So basically SSH is a secure way of accessing some resource. It uses again a cryptographic, basically a hard way of doing things so that nobody else can access it as we can. So SSH key is a key which we use to access such resources. You can of course browse the internet for more information, and then we have if fork is disabled. Okay, I don't think fork is ever disabled on a public repository, but if it is for some reason, then you can accept change. Sorry, download the repository, do changes, and then there is another git command, git format patch, which you can use to generate an email kind of series instead of you know just mm, just git commits. So it creates a series of commits in email kind of format. You can mail that to the owner of the repository. If you ever browse a commit, try to put .patch or .diff in the URL. You can see what that email format looks like. Abhishek, if you are sharing your screen, you can show them right now.
What I need to show?
Just okay.
Uh,
Let me share my screen. No
uh,
problem. Is it visible?
yeah, yeah, it's visible. Go on.
Okay. So I am just going to my repository slash commits, and let's say I am here at Rohit's information branch, and to the URL I add .patch. So you can see it creates an email kind of format where we have I am the sender from Rohit, then date at which it is created, then subject which states patch at Rohit's information. If I stated more things like if I used the I don't know why is it not working? Okay, let me show you here full/1. So if I wrote anything in the description box, it would also been provided here. And then it contains how my code changed the repository from where it was forked. So this is the kind of patch format I was talking about. You can send this to the maintainer, and he may happily merge it if he likes it. So yeah, so if fork is disabled, you can always do this. And then Anantha asked that if we do git fetch, will the current changes on my repository are overridden? No, they are not overridden. Basically, Git maintains a .git folder inside which it stores all the references. So whenever you do git fetch, all the references are fetched from the remote and are stored in that git format. .git is a hidden folder, so you don't have to worry. But if you use git pull, since git pull also runs git merge, they are going to be overridden, or they may cause some kind of merge conflict. So that is why it is always advised to use git fetch and then git merge according to your discretion.
Okay, let me now show the difference between Git and GitHub, right? That was the last topic as we promised to see, show them. Okay, yeah,
Okay, before that, a simple question here. Like if our website is private, how can we host it? So if you are hosting your website, it doesn't matter if your repository is public or private, because GitHub already has access to all the repositories. So the web pages of your repositories are going to be publicly available, but they will not be able to view your code, the public side of internet.
okay. Guys, like feedback form and attendance, like the form is same, attendance form and feedback form is sent in the chat. Please fill up that. Uh, According to that only, according to the responses based on that form, we will be delivering you the certificates in your mail IDs. In 2 days, we will be deliver that certificates. Okay. So just it is very important to fill that form and just put up like answer that questions, feedback about this session, and all of what are the sessions you want in the future. Just fill it over there and submit it, and according to that we will send you the certificate. Those who will fill that form, we will send the certificates to them. Yeah. And for the your queries, like the videos will be uploaded or not, that will be uploaded in our YouTube channel. In till tomorrow we will upload this session, whole session videos to our YouTube channel. And for another doubts or any queries, just you can subscribe our Telegram channel or Discord channel, and you can ask over there all the doubts and queries related to this session, and anything, any doubts related to IT field, you can ask over there. And subscribe our all the and follow us on all the social media handles so that we can get the updates our next sessions and all. So now let us come to the difference between Git and GitHub. I'll explain it in a fast manner. So what is Git and GitHub? We are talking about this from the last 1 hour. Now let us conclude and wrap it up with a small difference. So what is Git? So Git is a distributed version control system, right? And GitHub is a platform that is used for like that allows us to use this Git distributed system in a very very comfortable way, right? It provides a good UI. We got a lot of option over there. And GitHub, of course, GitHub UI, because GitHub provides the UI, so it is easy to access, and it is easy to perform the operations over there. So Git was created by Linux Torvald, who is also the creator of the Linux terminal. Yeah, and GitHub was developed by Chris Van Strath. Okay, and so Git is generally installed in the local system. Okay, you can install in it your local system named Git Bash or something like that. And GitHub is exclusively cloud based, and it is a website type thing. And Git has the branching models and all. And with GitHub, you can share your code with the other teammates, your friends, or whoever you want to show their code. You can share with them, and you have an access to make them edit or edit yourself. And perform all the such operations what we have shown today. So this was all about this Git and GitHub session. Uh, okay. Thanks for your time and patience.